possibly over 100 million people tuned in to watch Paul versus Tyson, y'all. Over 72,000 people attended to watch Paul versus Tyson, y'all. First of all, shout out to Jake Paul, man. A lot of people may hate, say that he's not a real fighter, but he does some things for boxing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, phenomenal fight. I had Katie Taylor winning that fight, although she was playing a little bit dirty with the headbutts, but she was letting her hands go. She was landing some shots, especially when Amanda Serrano got that cut over her eye due to a headbutt, incidentally. But it's boxing. It happens. If you know your opponent uses their head a lot, you got to box. And when Amanda Serrano was clinching, she kept clinching Katie Taylor to the side where she had the damage at. So besides Katie Taylor still landing shots and hurting Amanda Serrano on that side and tearing up the eye even more, she just wasn't doing anything in that fight to really immobilize Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor, she was letting her hands go. Katie Taylor, man, 38 years old. She got some fast hands, man. Amanda Serrano was landing some shots, but she wasn't really putting the punches together. She wasn't putting no combinations together. And that corner pointed that out. They said she needed to go in there and put her hand, let her hands go. But she didn't. You know what I mean? And Katie Taylor, she won a fight. It was a bloody fight before the fight even started. I said, this fight is going to be bloody. We saw how the first fight went. Second fight, I knew it really wasn't going to be a different outcome. The question was asked, should there be a third fight? Yeah. And it should be immediate because Katie Taylor, she's 38. Amanda Serrano is 36. There's no need for these two to fight other competitors. Nah. 36 and 38 years old. If they're going to fight again, they need to lock up that third fight as soon as possible. But let's just take a moment, y'all, and really salute to Netflix and Jake Paul. The move that they made, MVP Promotions, putting this fight on Netflix was huge. Just like when Eddie Hearn and the Zone came into the game and changed the landscape of boxing by putting boxing on streaming apps, Jake Paul did the same thing, except by him putting that on Netflix, and the reach that Netflix has is incredible. And looking at how they produced this fight, it was fantastic. The owners had their own little box set up right there ringside, man. It was cool. You know what I mean? They had lazy boys sitting in this motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? Had all types of like food and grub, you know what I mean? Right there, the center console. It was a nice little setup, man. You know what I mean? Everything from top to bottom. The production was fantastic. The fans turned up. They turned out. It wasn't no commotion. It wasn't no, it wasn't no bull crap going on. You know what I'm saying? You had Andre Ward commentating. They had Evander Holyfield over there. They had Lennox Lewis. Shaq was in the building. You know what I mean? Sugar Ray was in the building. The stars came out to promote this event. Let me tell y'all something, man. Like, if you really are a fan of boxing and y'all sat back and y'all watched this fight, I'm talking about really watched this fight, just how everything was put together, that's what blew me away. Because look, man, Mike Tyson's 58 years old. He has the 71-inch reach compared to Jake Paul's. I think it was like 78. Jake Paul was like 27, came in this fight at 227, so he put on some weight. Look, man, Jake Paul was a fucking heavyweight. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson was 28 years old, and I didn't know he had a bum leg until he got to the fight started. And once I seen that Mike had a bum leg, I knew how this fight was going to go. And if this fight was really a real fight, because after the so-called Mike Tyson slap, when Jake Paul stepped on his damn toe, you know what I mean, had Mike fucked up on stage, you know what I mean, he said, yeah, now it's personal, I'm going to knock him out. Okay, so if this fight was legitimately personal, and Jake Paul went into that fight to knock out Mike Tyson, After round one, where Mike landed a couple shots on Jake Paul and felt that power, and Lenny said Jake Paul won sadly. I ain't go, yeah, he won sadly, you know what I'm saying? But I had Mike Tyson winning, y'all. Subscribe. I love your content, man. I appreciate that, man. I really do. You know what I mean? Hey, y'all, when I scored this fight, I had Mike winning. Wesley starts. Mike didn't get to fight though. But see, this is what y'all gotta realize, man. Jake Paul is 27 years old, y'all. He is 27 years old fighting a 58-year-old fighter. If Jake was really serious about fighting Mike Tyson, why didn't he press Mike Tyson? He should have been able, he's young enough, legs are fresh enough to be able to press Mike Tyson, the 58-year-old Mike Tyson, legendary Hall of Famer, 22 out of his 44 knockouts ended in the first round. Mike Tyson, Iron Mike. You know what I'm saying? That Mike Tyson, as legendary as Mike is, Jake Paul is still 27, fighting a 58-year-old fighter. Mike is still dangerous. Power is the last thing to leave a fighter. But if Jake Paul was really serious about knocking out Mike Tyson, he had the opportunity. And yes, Jake Paul won some rounds, but in my opinion, Mike won some rounds. Jake Paul caught Mike with a few shots, and Mike caught Jake Paul with some shots. And some shots that Mike caught Jake Paul with was the heavier shots. A lot of shots that Jake Paul was throwing was grazing shots. And you had Roy Jones and outside the ring capping everybody up in the audience and at home thinking that Jake Paul is hitting Mike Tyson with some shit. But he wasn't hitting Mike with no clean shots, man. A lot of those shots was grazing shots. He hit Mike a couple of times, like real clean, that made like Mike kind of flinch up, but like stabbing Mike to the body. I mean, those shots was knocking Mike off balance. Wesley said, if Mike had legs, Mike would have killed Paul. Exactly. They would have called the fight for Jake's defense. Yep, I'm telling you, that's the only thing that saved Jake Paul and hurt Mike Tyson's performance was he came into the fight and he had a bum leg. And I'm going to keep it real with y'all, man. The reason why Mike had a bum leg, it had shit to do with his fucking age. The reason why Mike had a bum leg, because Mike Tyson actually at 58 years old trained his ass off for this fight. Mike trained harder in this fight at 58 years of age than a lot of fucking fighters half his fucking age. Most likely, he probably even trained harder than Jake Paul. Jake Paul came into this fight. Jake Paul was tired. Just like Mike was tired at 58 years old, fucking Jake Paul was tired too, and he was 27. Jake Paul probably trained in this fight, but he didn't train like, let's just say how he trained when he fought fucking Woodley. You know what I'm saying? How he fucking knocked Woodley the fuck out, face down. That's how he should have fucking knocked out Mike. If Jake Paul was really fucking serious about knocking out Mike Tyson, that's how this fight would have fucking ended. It would have ended badly for Mike Tyson. But the fact that Mike Tyson survived an 8-round fight, yes, it was 2-minute rounds, but the fact that Mike Tyson went 12 rounds with Jake Paul, that's not only a moral victory for Mike Tyson, but like I said, I actually was scoring the fucking rounds as far as activity, productivity, clean, effective punching, and Mike had some really clean shots. And I'm telling y'all, ever since the first fucking round, when he caught Jake Paul, Jake Paul was on his fucking, he was on his bike. You know what I'm saying? He was at range. Like, Jake Paul is not a fucking boxer. He is not a boxer. You fighting a 58-year-old Mike Tyson at range. Mike Tyson with a 71-inch reach. You know what I mean? Mike got to do way more to close that distance to get in, to even land a jab on Jake Paul than Jake Paul has to do. Mike got to put in more work. So if that was a part of the game plan to make Mike work, exhaust him, I mean, once you see that Mike Tyson had a bum leg, in my opinion, Jake Paul should have switched the game plan up a little bit and press the fight and got Mike up out of there. That's if he was serious about really knocking out Mike Tyson. But if it was just a performance because it was a great event, big event, I know the numbers in this fight, the metrics have to be insane. The site probably fucking crashed a few times because I got lagged like one time while I was watching the screen. But look at how many people in the world have Netflix. Just like everybody and their mama have Netflix, the same thing for fucking Amazon. Why you think Amazon got into showing football on Thursday nights? Why you think that's such a big platform for the NFL on Thursday nights? Everybody has fucking Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Everybody fucks with Amazon. It makes financial sense. And when you look at it logistically and tactically from a business aspect, it makes sense. So when they put this fight on Netflix and everybody in the world has Netflix, and the simple fact that I don't want to watch him fight anymore. Round one, Mike closed the gap and missed the hook on the 1-2. As soon as Paul's corner saw that, they told him to keep the gap open. Notice no camera in Paul's corner. The corner wasn't in Paul's corner, you know what I'm saying? But some of the feedback that I was able to process when they, you know what I mean, panned over there to the corner, like his corner was on some shit like, I ain't see a lot of confidence. You know what I mean? Like it should have been aggressive. You know what I'm saying? But they was trying to, you know what I mean, tell Jake Paul to box. Jake Paul ain't no fucking boxer, bro. You know what I'm saying? How did he achieve all his fucking victories? You know what I'm saying? By pressing the action, catching his opponent with that right hand. When he fought a real boxer, Tommy Fury, when he tried to box a real boxer, what the fuck happened? He lost. So how can you, if you Jake Paul's corner, go in there and try to tell him to box, even though Mike is 58, still, Paul doesn't have the ring IQ and the experience to go in there and effectively box Mike Tyson, even an older Mike Tyson. He showed that in the first round. Ever since the first round, Jake Paul was all the way to back. He was all the way back over there. He was over there some fucking way. You know what I'm saying? That's why when he was stabbing Mike to the body, when you looked at the shots, when they were showing a replay, when Jake Paul was stabbing Mike to the body, he was catching Mike at the end of the shot, just enough to knock Mike off balance. And even when he knocked Mike off balance, he didn't close the distance, which in a real fight, if an opponent stabs their opponent to the body and they hurt him or they knock him off balance, the first thing they're going to do is come in before they reset and shell up and try to get their offense off. Go to the body, sidestep, try to come in with the hook, try to follow up with the uppercut. You know what I mean? Utilize their footwork. But Jake Paul doesn't have those abilities. He does not have that IQ. So if Jake Paul was really as ferocious as he claimed that he was going to be for this fight should not have went 8 rounds. It should have, I mean, especially when it's 2-minute rounds. Because a lot of these fights, matter of fact, all these fights, I'm watching the fucking fights and shit, and it's like the round was over so fucking quick, like just when shit started to heat up. You know what I mean? Like, the 2 main fights on this card, y'all, was Barrios and Ramos. That was a great fight. The Goyette and the Nunes fight, that was a fucking appetizer. Goyette is on, he signed to MVP promotion. He's an Indian fighter. That is the first Indian fighter that I've ever seen in my life step into the boxing ring and glove up. And he had no power, but he had decent movement. So that's what made that fight somewhat entertaining to look at, because he had upper body movement. You know what I mean? He was kind of slick, ducking shots, slipping shots, but he had no power. And Nunes, I mean, both of them, Goyette and Nunes, I mean, it seemed like they was gassed, they was out of wind, you know what I mean? They was out of breath. And Nunes, he really didn't have, I mean, I didn't really see anything significant in his style that will kind of edge the fight in his direction. But with the activity that Goyette has, he did enough to win. That was the appetizer. But in the 3-course meal that followed, the first course was Barrios and Ramos. Barrios was looking beautiful. Early fight. Hurt Ramos, dropped him. Everybody, he about to get stopped. But then what happened? 6th round, Ramos comes, hurts Barrios, hurting bad. He was fucked up. You know what I mean? And next round, 7th round, come back out, Barrios is still kind of hurt. You know what I mean? Ramos almost upset Barrios. That was a great fight. And in my opinion, Barrios is supposed to look a certain kind of way in that fight, because they were going to they was going to try to make Ennis versus Barrios for that WBC unification, the IBF and the WBC. Now looking at the performance that Barrios put on, they're talking about trying to make a second fight. So now Barrios just got out of he just got a fucking get out of jail free card, because that fight was good enough and close enough that if they really wanted to make a second fight, looking at how that first fight went, people wouldn't be mad at it, even though they expect or they are expecting Barrios to face Jerome Boots Ennis for a unification bout. And in my opinion, that still should be the fucking blueprint and the game plan. Both of these guys are coming off fights where they didn't look their best, you know what I mean? But although Boots didn't get hurt or dropped like Barrios did, but still, it wasn't the performance that everybody thought it was going to be. That's boxing. So Barrios versus Ennis for their unification, 2025 early first quarter, I think that still should be on the table. You know what I mean? After Eddie Hearn saw what went on in that fight, hopefully the call goes out and they can sit down and they can start negotiating that fight. I think that would be a great, great fight. Now, talking about Eddie Hearn, talking about the zone, what Jake Paul and MVP did in this fight, I'm telling you, y'all, they opened up the floodgates for something very special. You talking about money to be made, and if you factor in Turkey a la Sheik, you factor in the zone, you factor in Netflix, we are talking about ground-breaking purses. Right now, Jake Paul is making so much fucking money. He making more money than Terrence Crawford, than naturally Jerron Ennis, you know what I mean? Gervonta Tank, I'm talking about pound for pound, top 5 fighters. Usyk, Fury, he's making more money than all these fucking guys. And at 58 years old, the payday that Mike Tyson is receiving or have received, because the fight is fucking over, the type of money that Mike made in this fight, Mike making more than all these fucking guys, bro. You know what I mean? So the zone, Eddie Hearn and company, they need to get with fucking Netflix, and they need to get Turkey in the fucking building. And we can see some real major shit happening coming in 2025. And one event, Netflix has introduced themselves to the boxing game in just one event. And for what it's worth, for what it is, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, for what it is and for what it was a decent fight. We can't expect it to be, I ain't expect it to be a groundbreaking, legendary. No. I knew it was going to be what it was going to be. And when I seen that first round, I pretty much ascertained at that point how I was, once I seen that leg, I knew how the fight was going to go. You know what I mean? When I seen Paul get his bell rung, round 1 by Mike Tyson, I said, oh, you know what I'm saying? I said, if Mike don't get him up, first of all, if Mike don't get him up out of there early, because the fight is only 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds. Those rounds go by super quick. So if Mike can't get Jake Paul up out of there in 3-4 rounds, and this fight wound up going past that, either Jake Paul's going to stop him, knock him out, or this fight is going to go the distance, which I expected at some point. That was ultimately the game plan for this fight, to go the distance. At this point, Paul versus Tyson was the main course, yes, but that was the quote-unquote entertainment aspect of the fight. You know what I mean? Serrano versus Taylor, 2. That fight, Barrios versus Ramos, which was, I'm talking about, people probably didn't expect that fight to turn out as good as that fight turned out. It wound up being war, wound up being close. Barrios was lumped up, bumped up. Ramos lumped up, bumped up. He had 6 losses, down 7 losses coming into that fight. People thought that Barrios was going to go into that fight, put on a great display, outbox him, probably stop him, but knock him out. Didn't go down like that. That fight wound up being a draw. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that possibly if that fight, I said it just like this: if Ramos can win round 12, Barrios gets upset. Period. The way that I scored the fight, you know what I mean? I scored that fight. 116 to 111. You know what I mean? Some say, it was a little bit closer than that, but that's how I scored it. because after Ramos hurt him in that 6th round, he had a couple of rounds after that. But then he started laying off of the gas. And a lot of the shots that Ramos was throwing he was like, I ain't gonna say he was pot shotting Barrios, but he was throwing like one shot. He wasn't putting his punches together. And when he caught Ramos with the left to the, I mean, not Ramos, when Ramos caught Barrios with the left to the body, left hook to the body, right hook up top, I was like, damn, why didn't you follow up with the right hand? You've been hurting Barrios throughout the fight with the fucking right hand. If he would have followed up with the right hand, he could have fucking possibly got Barrios the fuck up out of there. He caught him with that sequence twice in that fight. And he caught Barrios both in that series both times. But he was not following up with the right hand. Whichever hand or whatever punch that you are having success with in the fight, whenever you start letting your hands go throwing combinations, at some point you have to factor in that shot, because for whatever reason, your opponent is failing to either defend it properly against that against that shot, or they can't fucking stop it. Just like when Devin Haney kept getting caught by that fucking left hook from Ryan Garcia. That's how Ramos kept on fucking catching fucking Barrios. So when he caught him with the left hand to the body, came back up top, caught him with the left hook upstairs, I said, bro, why ain't you follow up with the fucking right hand? Straight right hand, uppercut, whatever. You know what I mean? When you looked at the fight, Barrios was fucked up. Ramos was landing on this motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? The fight was that close. But where Ramos fucked up was he was having success, but he wasn't capitalizing off of that success. You know what I mean? He was just throwing one shot. That one shot might get in there, but he wasn't following up. That's where he failed. In my opinion, that's why he failed to stack up rounds on my card. On everybody else's card, that shit was a lot closer. But on my card, when you throwing one motherfucking shot and you're not loading up on it, especially when you have the opportunity to put some shots together and possibly hurt your opponent, but you fail to do that on my card, that's going to hurt you. You know what I mean? If he would have put some shots together, I'm telling you, he could have upset Barrios, because after he hurt him and dropped him, that was the momentum changer. That's when you felt the earth move, the climate shift, all that good shit. But Ramos failed to capitalize. And I know that he had 6 losses coming into that fight. And I think a large partly why he has those losses is because, yes, he may be a Mexican warrior and all that shit, but you got to have some IQ. You got to have some fucking intelligence. Because once you start to fight A-level fighters, they are not only skilled as far as their skill set and tactically proficient when they step into the ring, like a Bam is, like a Bam Rodriguez, you know what I mean? They also have that IQ. So once you realize that you hurting guys, you have to be able to finish them off. You know what I mean? You got to be able to put some shit together. That's why they say boxing is a science. You have to know what you're good at. And if, once you know what you're good at, you see what your opponent is sweet at. You know what I mean? If they susceptible to the hook, the jab, going to the body, you know what I mean? Like Canelo don't like to get hit to the fucking body. You know what I mean? When you fight Canelo effectively mid-range, he doesn't like that. You know what I'm saying? He wants to bait you in so he can catch you, to counterpunch you, catch you with some shit, put some shit together, hurt you, get you up out of there. Especially if he gets you on the ropes, then it's really the fuck over. You know what I'm saying? But jumping over to Serrano versus Taylor, just to recap that real quick. Like I said, it should be a third fight. It was a great fight. This is one of those instances where I take my hat off to Jake Paul. I really do, because Serrano has been signed to Jake Paul. He's treating her right, put money in her pocket. She has great fights. She's getting great fights, adding to her already fantastic legacy. You know what I mean? The first undisputed champion in Puerto Rico's history, and she is a woman. You know what I'm saying? 7-weight world champion, damn near 8-weight. She, you know what I mean? Just like Manny Pacquiao, phenomenal competitor. Forget that she's a woman. She's a fantastic athlete, fantastic competitor, definitely a Hall of Famer. And when it comes to her and Katie Taylor, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like when Canelo and Triple G type shit, you know what I'm saying? Pacquiao, Marquez type shit. You know what I mean? That is a part of her legacy, and it should be a third fight. Where will it be? When shall it be? Who knows? But she dared to be different, dared to be great, moved up, fought the, you know what I mean, fought a great champion. Yes, Katie Taylor does lead with the head, you know what I mean? She has a fucking pit bull size, Rottweiler size fucking skull, you know what I mean, with adamantium in that shit, you know what I mean? So you got to watch out for the head bumps. But see, that's where IQ comes in at. If you got a cut on your right side and you know that she's always coming in, you know what I'm saying, leading with that head. And Serrano, every time she locked up with the clinch, she was always inviting Kaylee Taylor over to her damaged side, adding further damage, irritation, and sustained damage to that area, making that cut fucking worse. No, you got to bring her in, shift your weight, put her head on that other fucking shoulder. You know what I'm saying? While you doing that, shoot that uppercut, you know what I mean, in the fucking clinch. She wasn't doing that shit. And that cut kept getting worse and worse. Ref kept coming in there telling the doctor, look at the shit. You know what I mean? The shit is fucked up. You don't need the doctor keep looking at that motherfucking shit. She has a cut. It's fucked up. It's a fight. You know what I mean? She's in there with a puncher. Katie Taylor throws a lot of fucking shots. And at 38 years old, Katie Taylor was letting her fucking hands go. And Kaylee Taylor, man, she got some fast fucking hands, man, to be 38 years old. You know what I mean? She got some fast hands. So Amanda Serrano, great female champion, great competitor, very skillful. But it just goes to tell you, you can always learn in the sport of boxing. Now she can go back to the lab, watch the fight, look at some things, change some things. And if they ever fight again, she could do some things differently and walk away with a dub. But right now, she's 0-2. Close fights, yes. Third fight, can she get the dub? I believe so. Because there's certain things that she can change to secure the win. You know what I mean? She's a taller competitor, and she kept dropping herself instead of boxing. Katie Taylor, you got to box Katie Taylor. You know what I mean? You know what she does. You know how she fights. You know how she moves. Stop formatting your style to hers. You're the bigger competitor. You know what I mean? Box her. Let her come in. Let her have to work. The same thing Jake Paul did to Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? He tried to make, especially when Mike was injured. But you know what I mean? Serrano, she wasn't injured. Mike Tyson was injured. So Jake Paul didn't have to use that battle plan. Mike Tyson leg already fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to bait him and let him come to you? That just shows that you fucking scared of that power. You acting scary and shit. I ain't like, that's the only thing I can say about the Paul Tyson fight that I didn't like. If it was tangible, if it was legitimate, and Jake Paul was really trying to go in there and get the dub and get the fucking win, you know what I mean? As soon as you seen Mike step into that ring with that fucking knee brace on, boy, if I'm Jake Paul, cuz I'm talking about, boy, I would have fucking tied the fucking bid to my goddamn fucking robe or whatever, you know what I mean? Tell somebody, go get me a spoon and a fucking fork because it's fucking dinner time. We about to fucking eat. You know what I mean? Oh, his leg is fucked up. And once the fight began and you seen that Mike Tyson's movement was impaired due to that fucking right leg being injured, most likely due to excessive training and the fucking age, you know what I mean? Mike said it himself, throughout the buildup of the fight. I do a lot of the same things as far as training, but he said now, due to age, I got to get a lot more massages. You know what I'm saying? You got to, you know what I mean, get those muscles stimulated a whole lot more, you know what I mean, than you did when you were younger because your body, it takes longer for your body to heal. So if you're in the Mike Tyson style, you know what I'm saying, that peekaboo style, all the movement, Mike's style is from the bottom up. You know what I mean? Mike still has great feet. You know what I mean? And he still has great upper body movement, but his feet was really fucking dangerous with Mike Tyson's style because he can you know what I'm saying? He can turn on a dime, move laterally very well, very quick first step. But once one leg is fucked up, all that shit goes out the window because you can't shift your weight like you need to shift your weight. And that's why despite Mike Tyson's leg being fucked up or his knee being fucked up, he still had decent upper body movement. So Jake Paul couldn't land the jab effectively. You know what I mean? Mike was still slipping a lot of those shots. And when Jake Paul was throwing a lot of those wild hooks and shit, they was grazing Mike, even when it looked like he only caught Mike, in my opinion, like a couple of times very clean. But a lot of those shots was grazing Mike, you know what I'm saying? Because Mike was slipping those shots. When Mike was rolling with the shots, a lot of those shots was going, you know what I mean? It was like grazing the fucking back of Mike's skull and shit. He didn't get clean. He didn't get hit with a lot of clean fucking shit. When you look at Mike's face after the fucking fight, Mike's face wasn't, you know what I'm saying, swelled up, you know what I'm saying? Jake Paul shit was red, flush, you know what I'm saying? I would say probably due to more, you know what I mean, blood, you know what I mean, going to his face. Plus, he's also, you know what I mean, Caucasian, you know what I mean. But Mike caught Jake Paul with more significant shots, in my opinion, from what I saw, because I was definitely fucking watching, than Jake Paul caught Mike Tyson. But like I said, man, salute to Mike Tyson, 58 years old, youngest heavyweight champion of all time, undisputed. You know what I mean? I believe from like 97 to 2000, if I'm not mistaken, you know what I mean? Like Mike has done some phenomenal things in the sport of boxing, has been down, has been out, has went through very traumatic shit in his life, man. He bounced back. He didn't whine. He didn't fucking cry. He didn't look for fucking sympathy or pity from no fucking body. He's unapologetic. He's Mike Tyson. Even when he lost the fight, okay, the better man won. You know what I mean? Like he's like, I fight this fight, or I fight for me, or some Drago shit. I don't fight to look for the, you know what I mean, appeasement of the fans and to be accepted by. No, I fight for me, because at the end of the day, when you're in that fucking ring, man, it's just you. Nobody's going to fucking save you. The ref to some degree can save you. The corner, the doctor, whatever, to some degree can save you. But those are all in different segments of time throughout the fight. But when it's time to engage and lock in, it's just you and your fucking opponent. And Mike Tyson, even at this advanced age, he still trained harder than a lot of young fighters train. He still showed up despite being hurt. They said, oh, okay, you was hurt. You know? Look, I'm not going to use that shit as no fucking excuse. I signed up. I stepped into the ring, so we go fight. You look at a lot of these guys nowadays and shit, that's one of the first things they do when they fucking lose a fight. They're talking about the injury and all that, and then turn around on top of that and say some shit like, well, I'm not going to say that, you know what I mean, that it's the reason why I lost. So why the fuck you bring it up? You know what I mean? Why you bring it up? They brought that shit up when Mike Tyson, they brought Mike Tyson injury up. Mike didn't bring that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson is a true champion, and I can't even say he went out on his shield. You know what I mean? But he did go out, in my opinion, how he should have went out. Because if he didn't go out on his back, because Jake Paul, in my opinion, should have fucking knocked him out. But the fact that he went 12 rounds with a 27-year-old Jake Paul, who does have Jurassic fucking power, that if he fucking hits you and catches you fucking clean, he can destroy you. And it doesn't matter if you're former fucking NBA, NFL, PTA, NSTCB, I don't give a fuck, YMCA, it doesn't fucking matter. If you get hit flush with some fucking dynamite, your fucking head is going to explode. And he caught Mike with some shots, but he didn't catch Mike with some shit that really will fucking him up, because Mike at 58 years old can still move better than a lot of fucking fighters today. You know what I mean? So salute to Mike Tyson, salute to Jake Paul. But what I take away from this event, this fantastic event, is the fact that Jake Paul and Netflix put something together that at this point, in my opinion, that can be trend. It can be, I mean, this is, in my opinion, this is some new, fantastic shit. Because I just looked at how they put this fight together. How, you know what I'm saying? I mean, from the lights to everything. Jake Paul coming out in a fucking low rider with a fucking pigeon in the back of that motherfucker. I mean, everything. You know what I mean? I was watching everything, man. Like Netflix. Shout out to MVP Promotions. Shout out to Mike Tyson. They put together a fantastic event. And when you look at the scope, the scale, but more importantly, the reach that Netflix has, that's why I said somebody like Eddie Hearn, TYSON, Turki Al-Ashi, they are visionaries. People call Eddie Hearn fucking crazy. Fucking you know what I mean? Top Rank, they said that Eddie Hearn was fucking crazy. Nobody's gonna fuck with that screaming app shit and all that. But then what did they do? What did Bob Arum and company do? They did the exact fucking same thing except with ESPN Plus. You know what I mean? Jump right on the fucking bandwagon. So shout out to Eddie Hearn for being visionaries and bringing something new to the game. But this time it was Jake Paul who switched the game up, who brought something new to the game, something dynamic, something that can be transcending. Is definitely, this is not even a trend, because this is something that can phenomenally change the face of boxing. And with bringing somebody, when you put a powerhouse like Netflix and Turki Al, because Turki Al-Sheikh is already bringing the bag. So if you mix Turkey Al-Sheikh, who brings Riyadh season, the Abu Dhabi money, and you put them and Netflix together, and you can factor in the fucking DAZN, bro. Imagine the events, y'all, that they can put on. Imagine the events they can put on. You know what I mean? They can change the landscape of pay-per-view. Netflix didn't just have this fucking event for people who are subscribed paying 10, 20, whatever dollars a month. No. If you were subscribed to Netflix, you have the opportunity to watch this fight. So whether you pay $7 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month, whatever. If you were a Netflix subscriber, you had access to the whole fight, not just the undercard. And then, you know what I mean? Then the main event, you know what I mean? The co-main, and then the main event comes on to the people who pay for the subscription. No, you had access to the whole night of content, the whole line. And that's phenomenal. So there's really not a price point set for you to lock in and enjoy all of that content. If you were simply subscribed to Netflix, you were able to engage, sit back with your fight party, with your family, with your friends, or just by yourself, enjoy being a fight fan, have a great night of boxing, sit back, enjoy a great meal, you know what I'm saying, like I did, and watch the fucking fight, man, and enjoy it for what it is. And a lot of people thought it might have been this way, but it wound up being that way. Because I'm telling you, the Barrios and Ramos fight, and then you had Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano too. Those two fights alone were super explosive, fantastic. Great action, great rhythm. You know what I mean? Set the tone for a great event or a final event, which was Paul Tyson. But we all knew, and if it would have ended in a knockout, that would have been like the cherry on top. But like Andre SOG said, you know what I mean? Like Mike is 58. You can't be mad at Mike Tyson. You can't even be mad at Jake Paul for not knocking him out. Because at the end of the day, he put a lot of fucking money in Mike Tyson's pocket. And keep in mind, Jake Paul wouldn't have been able to eat without Mike. So that was a great pairing, a great business transaction, which led to a great event. So both parties ate. More importantly, the fans, the subscriberships for Netflix, everybody ate, everybody enjoyed their night, and it was a great night of boxing. And if you are the Bob Arams of the world, you know what I mean? Even, you know what I'm saying, going over to Matchroom and Queensberry and all, I mean, any major promoter in the game who has clout, especially with like ESPN, so on and so forth, Bob Arum, if you don't see what Jake Paul did in this fight and see the potential revenue gains from it and try to jump on board, I don't give a damn if they say that you biting off of Jake Paul or not, because you are. The fact is, it's smart business. And the fact that it came from a 27-year-old that a lot of people say that maybe he's maybe not a real fucking fighter, but at the same time, he's done some great things for the sport. And in his own way, he's brought some different aspects to the sport that has elevated it, it's brought some new aspects and dynamics to the sport. I'm telling you, putting on this event with Netflix is dynamic, and it could really change the landscape of how people watch boxing. You know what I mean? Because just like YouTube, the purpose of YouTube was to get people to continually watch content, recycle content, fresh content, new content, old content, whatever. But you want to keep people watching. So, and engaged. Engagement is key. So if you hook up with somebody, a powerhouse like fucking Netflix, and now you bring the boxing world into Netflix, so now you go from pretty much, who knows, watching Netflix all day. Now, you know, an event coming up, a boxing event is coming up. So now you have more and more and millions of more fans and potential new subscribers signing in and watching the platform for an additional 3 to 4 hours. You know what I mean? Engaging in that content. When they said that the servers or whatever, you know what I mean, got shut down because I'm talking about everybody and their mom was watching the fucking fight. That is what you want to hear. Because with Jake Paul and company, Netflix. I mean, I ain't gonna say personnel, but the owners, the board members, whoever, the big dogs. That means money. That means dollars and cents. And the millions and millions of subscribers that they have around the world. Even if you are not a boxing fan, the way that Netflix promoted this event, even if you're just watching whatever TV shows, whatever movies, or whatever that you may be watching while you're watching Netflix, eventually you're going to see, or you should have saw, a promotion for Paul versus Tyson. And naturally, you're like, hold on, this ain't a movie. This is a real fight. It's coming on Netflix. So a lot of people, for the first time, who may not have been boxing quote unquote fans, the simple fact that they saw a boxing program on Netflix, they said, you know what? Press play, and they tuned in. And for the fact that it was a live event, something that they have never saw, beautifully constructed and well done, that gets people engaged. And if people engaged, that gets people watching, and that gets people to come back for more. Because if they enjoyed it the first time, chances are they'll enjoy it the second time. So fans, whoever tuned in, whoever watched the fight, I think that we're possibly going to see something like this again on Netflix. I hope so. They asked Mike Tyson, would you do this again? And he said, you know what, man? He said, I might fight his brother. And his brother said some dumb shit like, I'll kill you. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, Jake Paul, he probably got started because his brother started fucking around with boxing first. But Jake Paul has become a better fighter than his brother. His brother is doing that WWF wrestling shit. I ain't sorry, y'all, but I ain't a fucking wrestling fan. That shit is fake, scripted. No, you know what I mean? I like real fucking contact. I like people getting fucked up. You know what I mean? When somebody's shit gets split, you know it's fucking real. It ain't ketchup fucking packets. I like real fucking hardcore content, real people getting their fucking ass whooped. So for Jake Paul brother to say he'll get fucking killed, that's only because you thinking that you looking at like Mike is fucking old. You know what I'm saying? But if Mike touched your brother up in that fucking fight, Mike could do the same thing to you. And if Mike would have went into that fight and he didn't have a fucking bum leg, I'm telling you, it would have been a totally different fucking fight. But for Jake Paul, the question still remains: when are you going to fight another fighter? You fought Tommy Fury, you lost. But when are you going to fight another fighter who is dangerous? And guess who I thought, or guess the first fighter that came to mind? Being as though Jake Paul is fighting, literally, he's 227, that's a heavyweight. Deontay Wilder. Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Yes, he's recovering because from what I read from reports, shout out to Michael Benson, it said that Deontay Wilder, he suffered a broken arm. And he had said broken arm in his last couple of fights, which is fucking retarded. You know what I mean? He said he didn't fucking know. Like, a broken fucking arm ain't a fucking splinter or a paper cut, bro. I mean, that's your fucking arm. That's your bones. How you don't know your shit is fucked up? Especially when you one of the most devastating punchers in fucking boxing. If you know that you ain't fucking people up like you fucking people up no more, and you know what I'm saying, when you do it, you having pain or you having injuries and shit, you know something ain't right. So, I don't know. I mean, that's a little suspect to me. But if Deontay Wilder got a broken arm, okay, I know the champ is getting this shit together, getting healed up, getting fixed up, pinned up, whatever. But it hasn't came out yet that he's walking away from the sport. So if Deontay Wilder isn't walking away from the sport of boxing, okay, then he's fighting. So why not fight Jake Paul? Why not go out? If you're not going to fight Anthony Joshua, I think that'd be a great fight. That can be a great cash out fight. Just like you seen Terence Crawford and Conor McGregor flirting at some kind of hybrid match. I don't know if they're going to be, you know what I mean, MMA, boxing crossover. You box me in my world, then I come fight you MMA in your world. Who knows? But Bud does. He already got a fucking wrestling background. So Bud is already strong, can wrestle. So I don't think that's too far off as far as something that could possibly fucking happen. But Deontay Wilder, even though he has a stance like a karate man, I've always said that shit. You know what I mean? It's like in another world, in another fucking life. I think that Deontay Wilder wanted to be a fucking karate man and shit. The way his stance is. But with that being said, if they're talking about him fighting a real fighter, and looking at where Deontay Wilder is in his career, lost about 3 or 4 fights straight, doesn't look the same. And I've been said, shout out to Malik Scott. He's from Philly. But ever since he started fucking with Malik Scott, Wilder ain't look the same. You know what I'm saying? He just ain't look the same. And it's not in a fucking good way. You know what I mean? He should have stuck with his old team. And I think the Deontay Wilder career would have been still projectionally wise in the same trajectory that it was. But when he started fucking with Malik Scott, shit started looking different. So if you can get Jake Paul and Deontay Wilder in the ring, I think that would be just as good as when he stepped into the ring with Mike Tyson. Because the Deontay Wilder, although he lost a few fights, more than a few fights, he is still, especially when healed, very, very dangerous. And he's not as old, even though he's in his 30s, he still ain't 58. So he can look better and do better than an older, supremely veteranized Mike Tyson. And he's still one of the most lethal and dynamic punchers, heavyweight punchers, especially in boxing's history. So just imagine the gates that you can have from a Paul versus Wilder. You talking about, and that's a dangerous fucking fight. That's a dangerous fight for Jake Paul. And that's a dangerous fight for Deontay Wilder. Because Deontay Wilder is not a boxer. You know what I'm saying? If anything, he's a puncher. You know what I'm saying? I can't even say he's a boxer puncher. But Deontay Wilder has one of the best 1-2s in the sport of boxing. Has a sneaky good uppercut and a sneaky good hook. But he's not a traditional boxer. And Jake Paul is not a traditional boxer. So I think as far as styles make fights, stylistically, I think that'd be a great fight. Name-wise, I think that will garner a great draw and that will produce good money. And if Deontay Wilder, like a Tansborough Crawford, is looking for that fight that will send him off into the financial sunset, I think that'd be a great fight for Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. I couldn't think of anybody else but Deontay Wilder. For some reason, that is the first fighter that came to mind when I thought about, like, who should Jake Paul fight? And you know, in boxing, they always kick that. Well, I got to go back. I got to talk to my team and see what makes sense. AKA, I got to go back, talk to my team, see who I can fight to make the most money. Because nowadays, in the sport of boxing, it's about the financial landscape, not the legacy landscape. And you know what? Is that a bad thing or a good thing? It's both. Because boxing is a gladiator sport. But at the same time, it ain't no health benefits in boxing. So if you get your bell rung enough times, you can be fucked up for life. You know what I mean? Talking like somebody got your fucking tongue on mute for the rest of your fucking life. You look at a lot of the fucking legends that ungloved up, been in some serious, brutal, cataclysmic wars in the sport of boxing. Hearns, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like their speech is fucked up. You know what I mean? Still great people. But from the sustained damage that they have taken over the duration of their career, you can now start to see the physical aspect and the toll that damage is taking on their lives. You know what I mean? And for some people, their career. You know what I mean? But Deontay Wilder, I think that he always kind of had like that southern gait when he speaks. So I don't think that Deontay Wilder fucked up because of the damage that he took. He done dished out more damage than he's ever taken. You know what I mean? So yes, he has lost like 3-4 fights, but look at how many fights he's won straight. Look how many knockouts that he has had straight. So these 3-4 losses are very, you know what I'm saying, bad at the end of your career. But at the end of the day, it's boxing. You lose, you win. And he has never been a great boxer. Deontay Wilder is a great fighter. You know what I mean? He's a great slugger, one of the best that ever do it. So if you put him in a ring with Jake Paul, I think that'll be a financial masterpiece. You talking about dynamite versus dynamite, power versus power. You know what I mean? Either both guys have the ability, the strength, the power to knock each other out. Who gets knocked out first? Who gets stopped first? I doubt very seriously a fight, Wilder and Paul. I doubt very seriously that fight goes the distance. So it was a fantastic night of boxing, man. I think even Tansberg Crawford of the world, the Boots, the Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, whoever, everybody, the top tier guys in boxing, whether they were in attendance or not, I'm sure they were home with their families, with their friends, their loved ones, their team, their coaches, their trainers, whoever. And I'm sure everybody sat back and they watched the fight. But the smart ones sat back and watched the fight and said, you know what? They're looking at this shit the same way that I was, looking at the bigger picture, especially financial picture. And you look at the type of events that can be put on fucking Netflix, the type of money that could be generated. So if y'all want to get paid, whoever your promoter is, you might want to start to, you know what I mean? You might want to put that call out there, you know what I mean, to Netflix, to Turkey, to the Zone or whatever. Get as many pieces that you have to together so that you can put together something very special. Because I think financially, this can be huge for boxing. A lot of fighters who deserve to get that money, but promoters may not want to put that money up. When you bring a powerhouse, like I said, about Netflix, Turkey, you know what I mean? With Turkey, especially Turkey don't mind putting that money up. But now that could take some slack off of Turkey by bringing a powerhouse like Netflix in, because they'll make their money not only off the gate, but definitely off their subscriberships, because you know what I'm saying? That's money to start. That's guaranteed money already. That's guaranteed fucking money already. Each day, every day, somewhere around the world, somebody is getting billed for a fucking Netflix subscription every day, all day. So that money is generating, you know what I mean, 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? All over the world. Millions and millions and millions of dollars all over the world being fucking generated from that Netflix situation. So you're talking about the financial gains that you can have. Man, that shit will be incredible. But shout out to MVP Promotions. Shout out to Netflix. Shout out to the Iron Mike Tyson, Hall of Famer, legendary fighter, man. Great dude. Mike is a very emotional, different dude, man. They kept asking Mike, like, why you always biting on your gloves and shit? You know what I'm saying? Mike was like, I got a biting fetish. Fuck me up. I ain't never heard Mike say some shit like that. It's like, that's why you was munching on fucking Holyfield air like it was a fucking Flintstone vitamin and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck me up when Mike said that. First time I ever heard somebody say that, let alone fucking Mike Tyson. But you know what? Mike is a special dude, man. Wears his heart on his sleeve. But Mike is also a very smart dude, man. Been through a lot of shit in his life. A lot of shit. And despite whatever he has been through, coming up, fighting every day of your life, being picked on. Imagine that shit. Somebody picking on fucking Mike Tyson and shit. You know what I mean? But some of the most nicest people in the world, man, you know what I mean, are some of the people that get fucked with the most. That's number one. But once you push them to a certain point, those are the people that will fuck you up. You know what I mean? Mike used to be vicious, destructive, you know what I mean, flamboyant, very volatile, but he transitioned to a different state of his life. You know what I mean? Learn how to appreciate life, appreciate his family. He had his son Amir Tyson as a correspondent for this fight. So that's money. That's a check. That's experience that he's putting in his son's pocket. You know what I mean? I thought that was a very beautiful thing, man. I was like, it fucked me up when I seen that his son was interviewing Mike Tyson, well, his father. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, they had it right there. That was the son and shit. Then after the you know what I mean, interviewed his pop, He was like, you know what I mean? Like, I love you, son, and all that. Gave him a kiss and shit. I was like, damn. I said, yo, that's some dope ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Because Mike always said he wanted to keep his children away from boxing. That's why he was like, I had to fight, I had to live, do what I had to do because we ain't had nothing. You know what I'm saying? He was like, y'all got a different life from what I, you know what I mean? I had to go through. Different life from what I had. So private schools, the whole fucking nine. So when I seen his son or one of his kids in general in that world, that's why I was like, damn, I was like, man, that's super fucking dope, man. You know what I mean? The fact that he got to experience, be a part of that experience with his father. You know what I mean? Like, you can't buy moments like that. Even though he got paid, but you still can't buy moments like that. You have to earn moments like that. And I appreciate Mike Tyson, man, you know what I'm saying, for doing that, man. That was some dope ass shit. So even though Mike took a L, because this win or this loss is going professionally on whoever wins or loses record. But at this point, it don't matter, man. Mike, you can't, if Mike was trying to give his legacy away, you couldn't take it. Mike is that solidified. You know what I mean? Mike is look, if they ever fucking make a Mount Rushmore for boxing, Mike is gonna be one of the faces on that goddamn rock. That's what Mike is at. That's how solid Mike Tyson, his history is. And when you couple that with where Mike Tyson is presently today as a person, a businessman, a philanthropist, a human fucking being, bro. You know what I'm saying? From the weed smoking and everything, bro. The energy and the realm and the state of mind where Mike Tyson is at today, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like Mike, like I got a lot of respect for Mike, man. I mean, every time that I do a video about Mike Tyson, put out a short or whatever, like I always get a lot of love behind that shit, man. That's one of him and Manny Pacquiao are my top fighters of all time. Shout out to Muhammad Ali, even Joe Frazier. I'm from Philly, just like Joe and all that. Bernard. But when it comes to who's your favorite fighter, I can't just say Manny Pacquiao. I can't say Mike Tyson. That's always my first two names that I say, Manny Pacquiao and Mike Tyson, because they are phenomenal competitors, explosive fighters, destroy and have destroyed many opponents in their day. But looking at who they are as men and as human beings and individuals, the character that they stand for, repping their countries, their cities, their neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Just being positive, dog. You know what I mean? Ain't out here. You know what I mean? I ain't knocking Floyd. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't on that flashy shit. You know what I mean? Trying to be, no, man, like low-key, decent, solid fucking people. You know what I mean? I gravitate to that. I respect that. I fuck with that. And Mike Tyson, it don't get no more legit than Iron Mike, man. It don't get no more legit than Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Two of the best that ever do it. They're in the history books for a reason. And it ain't by mistake. And if they come back and fight again, people are going to show up. They're going to pay their money. Fuck inflation. Fuck hard times. If I got to work extra hours, pick up an extra shift. If I have to watch Mike fight or to watch Manny fight, I'm going to do it. That's the kind of respect and adoration that these guys still have on their fans and to the sport today. It don't get no better than that, man. It truly don't. So for everybody that tuned in, man, I appreciate y'all. I really do. I really was going to wait to put something out tomorrow, man, because it's like, man, brother, a little bit tired, man. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed the fight. I watched the Eagles. I watched the Commanders. You know what I'm saying? Go Birds play yesterday. It's been a great weekend of events. But I said, you know what? Yeah, I was like, I'm going to wait because I made a video, but I didn't put the video together yet. Lock in, tune in, subscribe about Jerron Ennis, talking about Jerron Ennis' last fight with Karen Chukazian. A lot of people was talking about Boots, about his performance. Look, every fight is not going to be super explosive. You know what I'm saying? Every fight ain't going to be a knockout. You're not going to stop somebody in every fight. Even though when they just put out the post of boxing's pound for pound knockout specialist, Jerron Ennis landed at, I believe it was number 5 on that list at almost 90%. So he's still one of the most dangerous punchers in the game. But in the first fight, Karen Chukazian fucking ran. Had his track shoes on, won a gold medal. Okay. Second fight, they signed up for it. They wanted that fight because they know they improved. They know they got better. And he showed it. Put on a great fight. Probably even surprised Boots, even though they said they was ready. Boots got the knockdown in that fight. Still fought a good fight. Not super great. Didn't look super special. But he did enough to win. Got the knockdown. But he got hit a lot. And what I don't like about him getting hit a lot in that fight is a lot of shots that Boots took in that fight were unnecessary. He didn't have to take those shots. He was getting hit just to get hit. And I was like, what the fuck are you trying to prove? That you got a chin? Everybody know that you got a chin. You know what I'm saying? Boots done took some clean shots in fights because Boots usually roll with the punches, you know what I mean? So the punches graze off his face. So it may look like he's getting caught with a significant shot, but the shot is only about 20 to 30% of what it could be because he's rolling with the shot. So Karen did put his hands on him because after the fight, you seen Boots' face, you know what I mean? Like his face was a little bit puffy, you know what I mean? Like he was having a fucking allergy reaction or some shit, you know what I mean? His face was puffier than usual, you know what I mean? But that's boxing, man. Shout out to Karen Chukazian for going back to the lab and getting better. Just like when Canelo Alvarez fought Floyd Mayweather. What did Canelo do? Went back to the lab and he got better. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to fight the best in order to become the best version of yourself. And that's what Karen Chukazian did. He went in there with a young lion who was definitely a future pound for pound superstar, who's going to go on to be a multi-weight divisional world champion. He wants to be a multi-weight divisional undisputed world champion. But he went to the lab, him and his team, got to work, became better, put some things together, came out, and put on a great fight. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what they did. So, great. It wasn't the best fight, but Philly still showed up, still showed out, still supported, still gave love. You know what I mean? So salute to them for that. And this next fight, hopefully it will be Barrios. But like I said, Ramos put up a good fight. So Barrios really don't want to fight Boots. He got a get out of jail free card. With the performance that Ramos put on, he can legitimately say, or even though it's smoke and mirrors, you know what I mean? They could say, well, you know what, we're going to try to, or they want to make the second fight with Ramos because it's a good fight, it was a close fight. I'm going to go back and I want to put on a different performance. I want the fight to be more decisive. You know what I mean? Because Barrios did look good early. Like I said, he hurt him, he dropped him. But after he got hurt in the 6th round, the complexion of the fight changed. You know what I mean? No sunscreen, sunblock needed. You know what I mean? The sun was just shining differently after that knockdown, and he got hurt in the 6th round. But that's boxing, man. You could be the best of the best, but anybody can get hurt. You get caught with the right shot at the right time, it could change the whole dynamic of the fight. Boxing is filled with superstars, with great talent, phenomenal power. But on any given night, they step into that ring with the right opponent at the right time, who's hungry just enough for greatness, or to go in there and upset said opponent. Look, it can happen to anybody. But the fact is, Jerron Ennis is still undefeated, still going to go on to do great things in the sport of boxing. And me personally, you know what I'm saying, being a fan, not just because we're from the same city, but being a fan of the sport, and also real fighters, because Boots ain't afraid to fight anybody. He wants to fight anybody, especially if you are a champion. So I hope that Brian Norman, Barrios, Imantas Stanionis, I hope these guys will step up, get into the ring, so we can get it popping, man. You know what I'm saying? But Boots talking his move up shit, you know what I mean? So If he can't get those fights, which I don't see why he can't, but hey, like I said, this is boxing. People are looking for the bag opposed to looking for solidifying their legacy or adding substantial names to that hit list on their legacy list. So we never know. He may go up to 154. Bud has one fight at 154 already, so he's getting acclimated to that weight. So if Boots decided to go up, he's young, he has the frame. Who knows? You know what I mean? But just like he did damage at 147, Boots can do damage at 154. That's exactly why when you look at the timeline of his career, for their personal projections, they want to be undisputed at 57, 54, go up to 60, and possibly entertain going to 68 and doing anything over there. He has the youth, the size, and more importantly, the skill set and IQ to carry him and project him through each of those divisions successfully. Boots can probably get up to 60, still being undefeated. And he's 33-0 with 27, 28 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? One no contest, if I'm not mistaken. So with the Van Herden, you know what I mean? In that fight with Van Herden, he had got that roll with that fucked up cut, you know what I mean? And that fight fucked up Deron Ennis' streak, if I'm not mistaken. Because Deron Ennis, at that time, before he fought Van Herden, he had that nice little stretch where he was eliminating and knocking out his opponents. They was getting stopped by the 6th round. Everybody that he fought was getting stopped by the 6th round. So if it's round 4 and round 5, and you're in a ring with Boots, and you say, hey, I mean, he might have been fucking you up, but you know this is about to be the 6th round, you got to start asking yourself, like, damn, am I about to get caught with some shit? That's how scientifically probable that shit was that you was getting knocked out of stock if you made it to a fight that went 6th round with Boots. You know what I mean? But after the Van Herden fight, after that headbutt, everything changed after that. You know what I mean? But ultimately, Boots is still knocking out people, still stopping people, still winning, still undefeated. You know what I mean? But he wants to be undisputed at 47, which I still think he can do it. But like I said, these guys have to start pricing themselves out of the fight. You're young enough that if you fight Boots, you become undisputed. Or excuse me, when Boots becomes undisputed, he's going to relinquish those titles. He's not going to defend them over and over again at 47. No. Once he gets all the belts at 47, he's going up to 54. So that's why I don't know why the Brian Normans and all that, like why do you want to price themselves out of these fights? If you want to stay at 47, that's fine. If you lose your title, that's fine. Because the quicker the Boots gets those belts and moves up, the quicker y'all can fight for those belts again. And you can have your own shot or chance at becoming unified or undisputed. Because once Boots does it at 47, he's going. You ain't got to worry about it no more. You know what I mean? You ain't got to worry about it. But these guys are so afraid to lose their title. I don't know if it's the prestige, you know what I mean, that they have or they feel because they're world champions. I don't know, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter how long that you hold the belt, in my opinion, it's an accomplishment. Once you become a world champion, it doesn't matter how long you've been a world champion, they can't take it away from you. And these guys have only been world champions for a duration of time only because they're not stepping up and fighting anybody. A lot of these young guys is only fighting once or twice a year. Bro, you should be getting like 3-4 fights in a year, especially if you're in your fucking 20s, man. But some of these fighters, man, are fighting once a year, twice a year. Some not even fight once a fucking year. Like, that's like, what the fuck? Only teachers go on sabbatical. Fighters are not supposed to go on sabbatical, especially young fighters. You're supposed to be fighting all the fucking time. You know what I mean? But they fighting the people at the fucking bank instead of trying to fight the person next on the fucking pound for pound list or whoever's in the top 5 on their list. You know what I mean? They're trying to price themselves out of this fight. So Brian Norman, 1.7, a lot of people would have took $1.7 million, man, to get in there and fight. So fighters rather be paid to lose in order to, or instead of just being paid something respectful, which $1.7 million, that's more than respectful. That's more money that you have ever made in any other fight. So as long as you're making more money than you have ever made in previous fights. I don't see how you're being, financially undercut. If anything, you're being well compensated, in my opinion. When I say he, I mean Brian Norman. They probably never made $1 million. Whoever you're going to fight next, you ain't making a mil plus. So if you damn near getting $2 million to fight Boots, that's good money. You still get money from sponsorships or whatever else on your side that's tied to the fight. So Barrios, tough win, well, draw. But it's not a loss, it's a draw. You still was able to retain your title. So hopefully he can move on, take that fight with Boots unify with Boots for the IBF and WBC. Barrios is skilled, you know what I mean? Is he on dry and the skill level, in my opinion? No, but we could talk about that more in depth at a later time. But Barrios has height, he has size. So Boots is generally sometimes like the bigger, taller guy, you know what I mean? Because he's young, but he's big, he's tall, has range. But Barrios, the same thing, tall, range, got length, you know what I mean? So that'll be a great, great matchup, you know what I mean? Barrios is tough, he's a warrior, and when he get in there with Boots, man, Boots is definitely going to fucking punish him, you know what I mean? Because Boots' skill set is fucking different. The only thing that Boots needs to work on is fucking listening. Listen to your corner. Listen to your pop. I think Boots' problem is he's too skilled. He's too fucking skilled. So it's like he go wherever he hears is one thing, but once he goes into the ring and see what his opponent is doing, you know what I mean? Boots' mind starts going, starts working, starts clicking, starts maneuvering, and be like, okay, no, instead of doing that, let me do this because I can physically do it. And just because you have the physical skill or ability to do something with your opponent doesn't mean that's what you should be doing in the fight. It's a reason why you have game plans. It's a reason why you have a trainer in general, because while you're fighting, they see certain things that you don't see. Fuck the crowd. Well, not necessarily fuck the crowd, but you get what I'm saying. Listen to your corner. If they see certain things and you know that you are intelligent enough to execute what your corner is saying, if you can set your opponent up to land some of the shit that your opponent is saying, then some fighters can't. But somebody like Boots, Bud, Floyd, Tank, Keyshawn, Shakur, you know what I mean? Bam, and New Way. Like, these guys are very talented, very cerebral, very smart. So if their corner gives them instructions, they can be like, you know what, start calculating shit, go back in there and fucking execute. So that's Boots' problem, you know what I mean? He's not listening to his corner, and he said that himself. So I ain't just saying that in slight of Boots. He said that himself post conference after the fight. So he got to go back to the lab, work on some things. More importantly, listening. And the next fight that he have, I mean, I think depending upon who we fight, because as he said, the better opposition is going to make me step my game up. Which in some aspects I agree, and some I don't. Because you should never have to dumb your skill down just because the person that you are fighting isn't on your skill level. Never dumb yourself down. You know what I mean? That's how you wind up getting fucking hurt and upset. So that's something that he most definitely and certainly should work on, because that can ultimately wind up hurting him down the line once he faces better opposition. So on that note, y'all, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, locking in, man, for the likes. A lot of people, man, you can be watching Fight Hype, Fight Hub, so on and so forth, man. So for the people to watch this stream after the stream is wrapped up, man, I appreciate y'all if y'all make it this long. But I'm going to sign off because this fucking light is starting to fucking fry my brains, y'all. But I appreciate y'all, man. You know what I mean? Stay locked in. If you subscribed already, man, more content coming soon. I'm going to try to drop that Boots video tomorrow. But more streams coming soon, more lives coming soon, more shorts coming soon, more content in general. And we definitely have a bright future as soon as we change some things and make some changes of environment and the whole thing. The channel's going to have a totally different outlook and look and everything, man. So I appreciate y'all. I got new music coming too. You've been rocking with the channel for a minute. You know that I also do music. Also got a full-time job. So YouTube isn't the only thing that I do. do a lot of shit. You know what I mean? I'm a very busy man and shit. Even though I be in the crib, I still be fucking working and shit, bro. So I appreciate y'all, man. Stay locked in, stay tuned in, stay blessed, stay humble, stay motivated. Protect yourself at all times. Guard up, mask up, glove up. Stay blessed, stay humble. I catch y'all on the next one, man. I appreciate y'all. Peace and love, man. I'm out, y'all.